Good morning, students. Now, in today's session, we will be talking about few important terms which are required. We should be knowing them properly before we actually begin with the naming of the coordination compounds, that is IUPAC nomenclature. Right? The first term is ligand. Though in the previous in my video I have discussed something about these terms. Now what is ligand? Ligand is the donor atoms, molecules or ions which form coordinate bond with the central atom. Now, what are the donor things? Suppose if I write, say I'm taking that simple example which I took before also, say K4FeCN, this taken 6 times. In this Cn is a donor, ion. Okay, it can be ion, it can be an atom, it can be a molecule. This is a ion. We will be further talking about its naming. So, this is said to be ligand. This is giving its lone pair of electron to Fe. So Fe is acting as, in a way, Lewis acid, and this ligand is acting as a Lewis base. But whatever chapter we are dealing with, based on that we will call this as Lewis acid or base or ligand. Suppose I am talking about physical chemistry, then the base is electron pair donor. That means Lewis base is electron pair donor. So in that case it is a Lewis base. Lone pair acceptor is a acid. That is Lewis acid. Okay. Now when we are talking about inorganic chemistry, now here particularly coordination compounds, that particular part which is giving lone pair of electron is called as a ligand. Okay, it is giving a lone pair, forming a dative bond, coordinate bond with the central atom. Got it? That is a ligand. Suppose the same thing if I talk about the lone pair donor in organic chemistry, it will be called as a nucleophile, nucleus loving species. Got it? And the Lewis acid will be called as a electrophile, electron loving species. Got it? Now, the second term which we have to deal with is central metal atom. Central metal atom, or it can be ion. It can be both central metal atom or ion. So metal atom or ion to which the ligand is attached. Like here Fe. This is a central metal atom. This is central metal atom. Suppose I take another example, say NH3 taken 4 times SO4. Now in this what is it? NH3 is a ligand. It's a molecule. It's giving a lone pair of electron to Cu. Cu is central metal atom or ion in case, depends upon what charge, that also I have to tell you. And NH3 is giving the lone pair, so NH3 is a ligand. Got it? So we will be taking some more examples where these things will be clear to you. Right. The next term is denticity. Now what is denticity? Denticity is number of coordinating groups in ligand. Number of coordinating groups in the ligand. Means at times the ligand, one particular ligand can attach to the central metal atom with one lone pair of electron, one lone pair. At times, in one particular ligand itself there might be 2 points of attachment. So denticity, something related to teeth. If it is giving one lone pair, that means it is called as monodentate ligand. Monodentate ligand means it has only one point of attachment. It has only one pair to be given. Okay, let us take the example of this. Say monodentate ligand, water. You might be thinking there are 2 lone pairs, but only one can be given. So it can coordinate through only one lone pair of water. So water is one unidentate ligand. You have this thing ammonia, NH3 as a unidentate ligand. You have CO as monodentate. You have Cl minus, OH minus. Plenty of examples you have. We will be further taking. I'm just giving few. just to introduce the terms. Okay, if it is having 2 points of attachment, 2 points of attachment doesn't mean, two different in one. In one particular example, let me give example, then it will be clear. Otherwise, you will mix up between ambidentate and this didentate. Bidentate or didentate, it is the same thing. In some books you will find bidentate written. So it is didentate ligand. Now what is didentate ligand? It will have 2 points of attachment at a time. At one time there will be 2 points of attachment. Like for example, if I write CH2, NH2, CH2, NH2. This is having one lone pair of electron here, one lone pair of electron here. So at a time, this particular ligand can coordinate with the central metal ion through both the ends. So 2 points of attachment at one go. So this is actually example of ethylene diamine. Nomenclature we have to do, but as of now I'm just telling you the name. Ethylene diamine. Got it? So ethylene diamine at a time has 2 points of attachment. Let us take another example. This one, COO minus, COO minus. It can attach through this, it can attach through this. At one go, it is having 2 different points of attachment. It can attach through this as well as through this. Okay, so this is oxalate ion. It is oxalate ion. This is also bidentate ligand, a didentate ligand. You will be further studying, there are certain species which can be tetradentate, which can be hexadentate. Okay, so we will be further studying this example, one structure I will be drawing later. EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetate ion. It is hexadentate, its denticity is 6. Okay, it has denticity. Denticity, children, is a name given, to how many teeth it can have, how many points of attachment it can have. So it is hexadentate ligand, EDTA. It is ethylene diamine tetraacetate ion. We'll be drawing the structure later. Okay, this is clear. Now, suppose it is bidentate, it is more denticity it is having. Then suppose there is one central metal atom which comes here. So that central metal ion, through this N it can coordinate, through this N it can coordinate. So that means it has formed a ring. This ring such form is called as a chelate ring. It is called as chelate ring. And the process, process can be called as a property, property is called as chelation. Did you follow this? So we have discussed about what are ligands, we have discussed about central metal atom or ion, denticity, chelation. Now children, we are taking next term, that is ambidentate ligand. Now what is ambidentate ligand? Ambidentate ligand, as it says, it's a unidentate ligand containing more than one coordinating atoms. Means it can either coordinate through this or it can coordinate through another one. For example, if I say central metal atom and NO2 is coordinating through N, it is one category. Another category can be this, is coordinating through O. That means this NO2 is a ligand. NO2 minus, actually this is what ligand? NO2 minus. I am taking example of this NO2 minus ligand. Okay, NO2 minus, the name we'll be discussing. This can either link through N or it can link through O. So in this case it is called as nitrito N. As of now, just learn the name, I'll tell you the naming. This is nitrito O, means based upon through which atom it is linking, nitrito N or nitrito O. Likewise, you may have, CN or NC. Either it can link through carbon or it can link through this. So this is also ambidentate ligand. You can have, SCN, NC, NCS. It can be either linking through this or sulfur or it can link through nitrogen. Is it clear to you? This is a ion, this is again an ion. It can link through this, it can link through this. It is also ambidentate. Means at a time it cannot link through both. I hope the difference between didentate and ambidentate is clear. In didentate, what was there? At a time it was linking through both the N, both the COO. But in this, at a time it is linking through one only, either through N or through C, either through this N or through S. This is ambidentate ligand. Okay, till here it is clear, children. Now, next we are talking about is coordination number. Now, what is coordination number? Number of the unidentate ligands. That is coordination number. Number of unidentate ligands. How many unidentate ligands are there? That is coordination number. Or I can say number of lone pair given to the central atom. Number of lone pairs given. That is the coordination number. Suppose I write this example. Say AgCN taken twice minus, there are two CNs inside and both are unidentate, so its coordination number is 2. Let us take another example. CAr H2O taken 6 times, 3 plus, there are 6 waters inside, so its coordination number is 6. Coordination number, central metal atom or ion is chromium. Okay, let me take another example. Fe C2O4 taken thrice, 3 minus. Now you must be wondering, 3 ligands are present. No, but it is a bidentate ligand. It's a didentate ligand. So at one particular go, it is linking through 2 different atoms. So in this case, we will say its coordination number is 6. So that is why I told you here, what is coordination number? It is number of the unidentate ligands. Or better you can say the number of the lone pair, through which the ligand is coordinating to the central atom. Got it? So in this, one oxalate is linking through 2. So there are 3 such oxalates. So 6 coordination number. Clear? Now, what is coordination sphere or entity or counter ions? Now, coordination sphere is the part which is inside the bracket. That means central atom plus ligand. That is coordination sphere. So what is the coordination sphere here? Ag and this part. What is the coordination? This part in the square bracket. This part in the square bracket. So what is coordination sphere, children? It is central metal atom plus ligands. Okay. Let us take, say, another example. K2HgI4. So what is the coordination sphere? This part. The part inside the bracket. Okay, how you write the charge and all that also I will let you know. Counter ions. Counter ions are those ions which are present outside. As in the previous video we have discussed, the part which is present outside the bracket is also called as primary valency. So how many primary valencies are there? And all the primary valencies we say they are ionizable. Secondary valency is not ionizable. So in this case, what is the counter ion? 2 potassium ion. What is the these were only ions. In case a complete molecule is written, complete coordination complex is written. Say if I write K3FeCN taken 6 times. So what is the coordination number? 6. What is the central atom? Fe. How many counter ions are there? 3. Okay. Till here it is clear, children? Okay. Okay. Now we will take next definition, that is coordination polyhedra. Now what is called coordination polyhedra? The spatial arrangement of the ligands which are directly attached to central metal atom or ion. As we discussed that the ligands represent secondary valency which is not ionizable, and the secondary valency only decides the geometry of the complex. Based upon what is the number of the ligand, what is the coordination number, you will have this geometry. Okay, so that if it is coordination number 2 or if it is, normally you don't have 3, but still 3 we can write. You may have coordination number as 4. In 4 you have 2 possibilities. You may have 5, you may have coordination number 6. Okay, if you have 2, you will have metal atom and 2 ligands will be arranged like we study in chemical bond, that the ligands will be arranged in such a manner that the repulsion is minimum, so it will be linear manner. If it is 3, though you do not have many such examples, you will have this as 3, that is trigonal planar. If it is 4, you may have 2 possibilities. Either you may have tetrahedral arrangement. The 4 ligands are present in the form of the tetrahedron. They are all giving one ligand. These are, I have considered here they are unidentate ligands. This is tetrahedral arrangement. Or another possibility is 4 ligands are arranged in the form of square planar. You may have square planar arrangement also. You can write down this is linear, trigonal planar, tetrahedral, square planar. Then you may get a doubt, how, when it is square planar and what time it is tetrahedral. We will be discussing in hybridization. There we will, this idea will be clear to you. 5 means it will be trigonal bipyramidal. That means you will have this central metal atom. You first draw that, normally what we was doing in chemical bond, right? So you will have this trigonal bipyramidal. If it is 6, you may have the metal atom here and the 6 ligands will be arranged in this manner, that is octahedron, or we also call this as square bipyramidal. Got it? Till here it is clear. In 5 actually, you will also come across square pyramidal. You may have this structure also. Okay, I'll draw here. When I'm taking example, that time also actually I can take. There will be 5 ligands here. There will be 1 lone pair present. Otherwise, this is square pyramidal. This is also coordination number 5. Clear? Now, let us take another. This we require very much in while naming it. Okay. Oxidation number. Now, what is oxidation number? If you see the definition, you may feel, what actually we are doing. It's basically very simple. What we do in redox reactions, how we were calculating the oxidation number. Oxidation number, children, we calculate with reference to the central metal atom. I will take some examples to explain it. Okay. Suppose you have this Cu NH3 taken 4 times SO4. You want to find out what is the oxidation number, your oxidation state of copper. Then what you do is, you want to find out for this, you will put this as X. There are 4 NH3 and NH3 is neutral ligand, so 4 into 0. Then plus, I will include everything as one neutral molecule, including the part which is outside the bracket. This whole thing is sulfate, and we know what is the charge on sulfate is -2. This whole is 0. The sum of the charges of all species which are present in a coordination compound is 0. Total, not just coordination sphere. So if I solve, I get here as, one second. Yes, this is 0, this -2, that will go on the right hand side and you will get +2. So what is the oxidation state of this copper here? This is one example, 2. Let me take another example. Second example I am taking, children. FeCN taken 6 times 4 minus. X, because we want to calculate. Always for central atom you are calculating. X plus 6. This is negative ligand. Okay, that's a -1. Now, this is just an ion given to you. If it is only ion given, then whatever, the sum of the oxidation states of all these species inside the coordination sphere will be equal to the charge present. Is equal to the charge present. If you solve it, you will get X is equal to +2. So, what is the oxidation state of Fe? +2. Okay, let us further calculate. Next example we are taking, third example, K3 Fe C2O4 3. Okay, naming we will be doing. Potassium is alkali metal 1. So 3 into 1. Fe we are finding out X. Plus 3 oxalates are there, 3. Each oxalate has minus 2 is equal to 0. If I solve, this will be plus 3, this will be minus 6, and if you take the other side, it will be plus 3. So what is the oxidation state of Fe here? 3. Got it? Fourth example. Let us take this one. This example. Ni we are calculating X. CO is a neutral ligand. So you might be wondering how to remember these. When we are doing the nomenclature, no, this will be clear to you how to calculate, what type of ligand it is. The whole thing is 0. So X comes out to be 0. So what is the oxidation state of nickel here in this example, children? 0. Got it till here? Classification of the complex on the basis of the charge. On the basis of the charge, the complexes can be classified as cationic complex, it can be anionic complex, it can be neutral complex. Neutral, cationic, anionic, neutral. Now what do we mean by this? Suppose I consider this CuNH3 taken 4 times, this inside. The sphere is coming first. So how will this ionize? This will ionize as CuNH3 taken 4 times 2 plus sulfate ion. That means the charge what this sphere is getting is positive. It's a cationic complex. Got it? Suppose I take that previous example only. K3 Fe Cn taken 6 times. Suppose I take this. How will you ionize this? This will ionize as 3 potassium ions plus 1 Fe Cn taken 6 times 3 minus. This sphere is coming as a negative ion. So it is anionic complex. Suppose I take another example, FeCO taken 5 times in the bracket. That's it. Nothing before and later. If nothing is there, before and afterwards, then it is said to be, neutral complex. It will not undergo ionization at all. Till here clear, children? Now further, complexes can be classified into 2 on the basis of the type of ligands present in them. Now let me write the names: homoleptic and heteroleptic complexes. Homoleptic complexes are those which have same type of ligands in it. Same type of ligands. That means maybe having more than one ligand, but all ligands are of the same category. All ligands are of the same category. For example, let me take that simple example which we were always considering, this one. There are 4 ligands present and all 4 are NH3. This is homoleptic complex. Okay, and heteroleptic complex is that in which different type of ligands are there. Different types of ligands. Different types of ligands means not that different category also, yes, you can consider, but different type. Let me take example, then I think it will be better for you to understand. Say cobalt, you have NH3 taken thrice, and let me take this as 4, then it will be fine. If you take this 4, this is 2, and 1 Cl is outside the bracket. That means inside the sphere you are having NH3 ligand as well as Cl ligand. 2 different types of ligands are there. If 2 different types of ligands, it is heteroleptic. Let us take one more such example. CO, NH3, 4 times. You have 1 water, 1 Cl also inside. Outside the bracket, Cl2. you have three different types of ligands. You have water, you have Cl, you have NH3. This is heteroleptic complex. This is heteroleptic complex. It's clear to you now? Okay, so in today's session, what we have discussed is all the important terms which are required to understand the coordination compounds. Fine. Now, in the next class, we will be learning the nomenclature part. The nomenclature part, how to name, give names, IUPAC names for the coordination compounds. I hope you have followed whatever we have discussed. If you have followed, you can like and subscribe. Thank you.